All right, let's just get right into it. What is the actual secret to living a long, healthy life? I mean, we're all looking for it, right? But there's so much noise out there, so many conflicting headlines. In this explainer, we're going to cut through all that clutter and get to the real, evidence-backed truth.
So, I'm going to start with a quote that probably sounds completely bonkers. A professor of biogerontology, that's someone who scientifically studies the biology of aging, is telling us we should never listen to the oldest people on the planet. Why on earth would he say that? What's going on here?
Well, it's because our natural instinct, our gut feeling to go ask a 110-year-old what their secret is, it's a trap. It feels like the right thing to do, but it actually leads us completely down the wrong path.
And the name for this trap is survivorship bias. It's such a powerful idea. We see the one person who smoked a cigar and drank whiskey every day and lived to be 102, and we think, wow, maybe that's the key? But here's the thing. We don't see the millions, and I mean millions, of other people who had those exact same habits and died at 62. We're only looking at the statistical outlier, the lucky one who survived despite their habits, not because of them.
Okay, so if we can't just copy the lucky few who won the genetic lottery, what are we supposed to do? Where do we look to find the real answers?
This is where we get to the good stuff. We have to start decoding the actual science. Instead of focusing on those one-off anecdotal stories, researchers look for the patterns, the common denominators across entire populations that are living long and healthy lives. This is where the real data lies.
And here's maybe the most empowering discovery of all. Your longevity isn't really written in your DNA. A really famous study of twins found that genes only account for about 20% of how long we live. The other 80%, that's your lifestyle. That's the part you can actually control.
And the potential payoff here it's just staggering. A huge study of over 700,000 U.S. veterans found that adopting 8 key healthy habits, even if you start in middle age, could add up to 24 years to your life. 24 years, that's not a rounding error, that's a whole extra chapter of your life.
So what are these incredible life-changing habits? Well, the best news is that when you look across all the serious research, the advice is remarkably consistent. It's not complicated. In fact, we can boil it all down to a simple, memorable framework, the 4 pillars of health.
Here they are. Super simple. Eat wisely, move your body, rest and recharge, and find your tribe. So let's break down exactly what the science says about each one.
First up, eat wisely. And the absolute key here is we have to get rid of the dieting mindset. Just ditch it. We all know that short-term, super restrictive diets almost never work in the long run. The real goal is a permanent lifestyle shift, one that's built around nourishing your body with real, whole foods.
So what does that actually look like? Well, the principles are pretty straightforward. First, adopt a plant slant. Make plants the star of your plate. Beans in particular are a cornerstone in the world's longest-lived communities. Make sure you're getting enough protein for muscle. And I love this one. Borrow the 80% rule from Okinawa and stop eating when you're about 80% full. And of course, the big ones. Avoid processed foods and added sugars, and don't be afraid of healthy fats from things like avocados, nuts, and olive oil.
Okay, pillar 2, move your body. The big secret from the world's blue zones, those places where people seem to live forever, is that people there don't work out. They don't live at the gym or run marathons. Instead, their entire environment is set up to constantly nudge them into moving naturally. They're gardening, they're walking everywhere, they're doing chores by hand. The goal is to make movement an effortless, natural part of your day.
Now, if you're someone who likes specific targets, the official U.S. Physical Activity Guidelines give us a great roadmap. They basically say adults should aim for at least 150 minutes of moderate activity, like a brisk walk or dancing, plus a couple of days of muscle-strengthening stuff each week.
But honestly, the most crucial part is this. Find something you actually enjoy doing. Whether it's hiking or dancing or playing a sport, consistency is so much more important than intensity. The best exercise on the planet is the one you'll actually do, without having to force yourself.
All right, pillar 3 is the one that I think we are all guilty of sacrificing: rest and recharge. And this isn't just about sleep. It's also about actively managing your stress, which we know from research can just wreak havoc on your body and your health.
Let's start with sleep. On this, the science is crystal clear. The major sleep organizations all got together and agreed for optimal health, adults need 7 or more hours of quality sleep per night. Period. They call it non-negotiable.
And for managing stress, the world's longest-lived people all have these built-in routines to downshift. It could be mindfulness, taking walks in nature, or even just learning a new skill. There's this fantastic concept from Okinawa called ikigai, which is basically your reason for getting up in the morning, your sense of purpose. And having that sense of purpose alone is linked to a longer life.
And that brings us to our final pillar, number 4. Find your tribe. You know, this might be the most overlooked secret of all. Having strong, positive social relationships is one of the most powerful predictors of a long and healthy life. It's not a nice-to-have, it's a must-have.
So how do you actually do it? Well, you nurture your closest relationships. You join a community group. You volunteer. And I absolutely love this idea from Okinawa. You create a moai. It's a small group of friends who commit to supporting each other for life. Think about it. Your social circle literally shapes your health habits, which makes sticking with all the other pillars so much easier.
So we've got the 4 pillars, but knowing the rules of the game isn't enough to win. The real secret, the ultimate hack, is to stop trying to rely on willpower and instead start redesigning your environment to make the healthy choice the easy choice.
And this brings us to this brilliant concept called the life radius. Research shows we spend about 90% of our lives within just 5 miles of our home. That little bubble is where life happens. So if you can optimize that space, you can make these huge, lasting changes to your health almost on autopilot.
And this starts with really small, simple tweaks. Engineer your kitchen, put a fruit bowl out where you can see it, and hide the junk food. Optimize your home. Keep your walking shoes right by the door. Shape your social life. Proactively schedule time with friends who make you feel good. Remember, this isn't about having more willpower. It's about having a smarter design for your life. So, I want to leave you with this question. Let's make it personal. Forget about trying to overhaul your entire life at once. Just think about your immediate environment, your home, your neighborhood, your social circle. What is the one, single, easiest thing you could change tomorrow that would nudge you toward a longer, healthier life?